um, that GSC report, of course.
Money.
Oh, the mop up exercise. Oh yeah, yeah. Well, the mop up exercise, of course, that would be seen as something smaller compared to the $4.6 billion that was confiscated.
That's what I'm saying. The 4.6. I mean, all those reports, they are there. They have recommendations. What are we doing about them? Can you sit down on that?
And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I do have Ben Fyneah, for Kofa. He is our guest tonight. Is serving at the will and pleasure of his own ambition to become president of the Republic of Liberia. He has seen it all. He has assisted others. People have gone there and filled him, including the current leadership of the Coalition for Democratic Change. He actually was one of the brains behind the CDC when he was when he started off back as far back as in 2000. Was it 2004? I've forgotten when the CDC came into 2005. Because I remember the CDC started off before, I mean, just in time to meet the election with Madam Sirleaf. So Mr. Ben Kofa is here outlining some of his own distaste for the system and how he intends to move forward if given the opportunity. So now let's look at the platform on which you intend to run. Mr. Fyneah, you would have to either go as independent candidate or you have to go through an institution. Do you intend to vie through the CDC?
No. I will tell you this. Many members of the CDC, it's sad for me to say that this is one of the saddest things that will come from my mouth. We are literally running away from the CDC because the brand has been damaged. I was independent.
Well, what if you have 3, 4, 5 independent candidates? You be one of them?
Well, then let the cream rise to the top.
Why would you want to go as independent? Because people are saying that in order to run for any position in Liberia, especially the presidency, you have to have a base. If as independent,
you don't have to have a base to do that. Anybody can vote. You just have to meet the constitutional requirements. That's all.
No, I agree, but I'm just saying that you should have a base. In other words, you should have this.
So, let me tell you this, my brother. You see, that base, that structure in Liberia, I'm not saying so, in Liberia, most times is what turns things upside down. You will have annual, tribalism, you have regionalism, you have the no. This, I want the people's movement. The people movement, bringing all of the rest on one level with the hope of effective change in Liberia. I don't want a political party. No.
Well, you say that again. I did not get that portion.
My intent is to rally Liberians under an umbrella, under a movement. I don't want a party. I don't want a political party. No.
Because the fact is, people believe that if you institutionalize the process itself of running for the presidency, at least you have people who come on board and be able to identify their effort with an institution as opposed to an individual.
Brother, I was thinking this the world over. independent candidates. For the Liberian environment, I will choose to be independent.
For the Liberian environment, you choose to be independent.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, of course, I do have on board tonight Mr. Ben Fyneah. Mr. Ben Fyneah has declared his intention to vie for the Liberian presidency. He has seen, the level of mess that has been going on in the country for the last 14 or so years. He has assisted others to ascend to power, including the current leadership of Mr. George Weah. And he believes that this leadership of Mr. George Weah would not, of course, deliver the Liberian people. So he has, upon his own volition, decided to go into the race. But Mr. Fyneah, let's see if we can begin to wrap up this conversation. You have decided that in April next year, a year from now, you'll be in Liberia. Where do you hope to make your base? Is it Monrovia? Is it outside of Monrovia, or for security reason you don't want to disclose that?
Zwedru, Grand County.
Why Zwedru?
Well, it's just a part that something that we fell in love with.
Yeah, well, do you have base? Do you have a route in Zwedru, Grand County?
I'm a crew man. I'm going to Grand no family, no friends. But it's a part of the community that I love.
I mean, that brings us to this question of your relationship with Samuel Doe. You look at your profile page. It is littered with the footprint of the former president Samuel Doe. Is there any relationship between you and the former president?
There is no relation, no family relationship, no trap. I believe Samuel Doe was wrong. I believe he was lying. I believe he was murdered unjustly.
All right, so let's take that systematically. One can say that the evil that men do live after them.
I would disagree with that.
The fact that he shot his way to power, one could say it was karma that followed him. But let us look at the leadership of Samuel Doe. Why would you want to say he was lied upon?
Well, you see, the opposition at the time, prior to 1980, the Bourgeois, the PPP, and the Pound people, they were the ones who had the Tea Party as the enemy, even though they were beneficiaries of the CWP. So they were the ones who were paying claims of dissent and cohesion. And suddenly the coup happened. But the mindset was that Samuel Doe was legally going to stage a coup and gave them the country on a table platter. So when that didn't happen, they went against me. The rest is history.
So in other words, others are intended to use Samuel Doe for their own selfish gains, and once that plan went haywire, then they decided to turn against him.
That's the bottom line.
What's the basis of such an allegation?
I mean, it is self-evident. It is self-evident. When Samuel Doe took over, everybody was in that government. Wagabamu, they were all there. With the expectation that it was going to be someone. When that didn't happen, they came in.
So let's go from there. So in other words, you're saying that based on that, Based on that expectation that did not come to pass, that was where the conspiracy against President Do itself took shape.
That was it.
What would you be saying to those who think that there's no empirical fact or evidence to that?
Well, then I would tell them to bring me counter evidence. Let them show me counter evidence. Because let me just stress one thing here. People saw somebody was killing everybody. Remember that? And just tell you, able to show you, Chico, Chipote, Family, all every major actor in Liberia was arrested at one time on assignment. We arrested. Now listen to the people. Most of these people did not even go to court. Somebody will say, you believe that people have nothing, let them go. So the guy who killed everybody didn't even take these people to court. They stood them at 10 alive to dead. But at the same time, was killing everybody. I mean, how do you reconcile that? And let me tell you what the most unfortunate thing. You know this, really. And we can have people who die. We just see people who die. And somebody will share his life. Well, that it was a murderous talk was killing everybody. So you tell me you didn't have that means of different, Joseph? But you see, the narrative, the lies, the disinformation is out there. And some people are not even prepared to dig deep, to look at what's happening. So, we're where we are.
Well, there's so much to discuss about. Like I said, even though you would be running under a single item platform, which is transparency. It was that transparency. We will look at some of the accountability. I'm sorry. We'll look at some of the sectors in our society that you probably would be dealing with in the first place from day one, because one of the things that kill this government currently is unpreparedness. They hit the ground and then they were looking for landing place. Others will hit the ground running. That should be should be the ideal stance of any government. But we had a government who came in and there was no agenda, and then they started a slogan, and then a slogan. They developed something that we ourselves did not see, never went through any kind of public discussion, and now it's gathering dust on the shelf, if ever at all it existed. One will assume that anybody who takes over from this government will have a deeper hole to fill. It's like the whole Madame Sally filled when she came into power from President Taylor. So our next discussion here will be on the weekend here, and we'll try to see where you will start from day one, if at all you're given the opportunity to lead. Any final message for the night?
No, I just wanted to say thank you once again to you, and thank you to whoever's out there listening to us. So I want to tell them that these dialogues, they are very good. They are going to be special. Like hearing people talk, we need to get to know each other so that we can understand each other. We can have differences, but we are enemies. We are all brothers. Liberia belongs to all of us. The goal is a better Liberia for us and our children. I thank everybody. I want to say good night, good morning, good evening to each and every of those that. Thank you. I look forward to coming back.
Thank you so much, Mr. Fyneah. Of course, our guest tonight was Benjamin Kofa Fyneah. He's a resident of Seattle, Washington, and he has declared his intention to see if he could go into Liberia and by next year begin, to regularize his own return to the nation to run for the presidency. He's a young, exuberant guy. Started off with a number of political organizations, including the CDC. He helped to bring the CDC to light for the likes of you who may not know him. But according to him, he's going to be stationed in Grandeur. Why? Why Grandeur? I will ask you this again because Grandeur, if you put all the votes in that region together, it's not even a third of what comes out of Nimba County, let alone Montserrat.
I understand, my brother. That is the part of the country that I fell in love with. You know, there are a lot of people going back home, they choose to go back here in the city. It's just one of the country that I fell in love with and I want to reside there.
Yeah. All right. Well, we will try to get Mr. Fyneah back here on the weekend, and preferably on Sunday. We will send out the information. We did have technical difficulties earlier, but and as you can tell, the audio was not the best from his end. I will try to see where the problem is coming from, because he's an expert in also IT, so and I have my own way to meet him halfway, so we do have some skills. But Mr. Fyneah, thank you so much on behalf of the Colonel E. Remy Gray show. Would like to thank you for showing up, and have a good night.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Thank you. Have a good night too.
You bet.
All right.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, that was Ben Kofa, and Mr. Kofa was with us, and would like to thank you for joining us. We may not have the viewership much tonight because we're at a switch between platform. A lot of folks right now are, are looking for something to watch, so this video will be on demand. You can always go there and access it and listen. Hopefully next time, when he gets here on Sunday or next week, which is on Sunday, you and I will be able to talk to him more. Thank you so much. On behalf of the crew, have a good night. Goodbye.